The first and greatest victory is to conquer yourself. Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something. At the touch of love, everyone becomes a poet. Justice means minding your own business and not meddling with other men's concerns. The measure of a man is what he does with power. One of the penalties for refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. Courage is knowing what not to fear. Ignorance, the root and stem of all evil. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. Knowledge, which is acquired under compulsion, obtains no hold on the mind. The price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. A good decision is based on knowledge and not on numbers. Ignorance of all things is an evil neither terrible nor excessive, nor yet the greatest of all. But great cleverness and much learning, if they be accompanied by a bad training, are a much greater misfortune. The just man is most free from disturbance, while the unjust is full of the utmost disturbance. Necessity is the mother of invention. There is no harm in repeating a good thing. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Ideas are the source of all things. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing. Rhetoric is the art of ruling the minds of men. For a man to conquer himself is the first and noblest of all victories. Music gives a soul to the universe, wings to the mind, flight to the imagination, and life to everything. Courage is the chiefest virtue, for it makes all other virtues great. The just and the unjust have never been shown to be equally happy. The unjust man is like the ever-tormented, and the just man like the perfectly happy. The measure of a man is what he does with power. You should not honor men more than truth. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. Knowledge is the food of the soul. The city is what it is because our citizens are what they are. He who commits injustice is ever made more wretched than he who suffers it. The direction in which education starts a man will determine his future in life. The greatest wealth is to live content with little, for there is never want where the mind is satisfied. The first and greatest punishment of the sinner is the conscience of sin. Let parents bequeath to their children not riches, but the spirit of reverence. The soul of a lover of learning is whole and inner, and of one who is not whole, the outer covering is a lie. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Excessive liberty, whether it lies in state or individuals, seems only to pass into excess of slavery. The greatest of all the delusions is the supposed ability to discover truth without the pain and labor of thought. The penalty that good men pay for not being interested in politics is to be governed by men worse than themselves. Justice means fulfilling the function of one's own nature. Beauty of style and harmony and grace and good rhythm depend on simplicity. Philosophy begins in wonder. The greatest mistake of a soul is non-recognition of its real self, and can only be rectified by recognizing one's true self. An empty vessel makes the loudest sound, so they that have the least wit are the greatest babblers. The good are willing to pardon 1,000 times, the wicked not even once. Wealth and poverty. The one is the parent of luxury and indolence, and the other of meanness and viciousness, and both of discontent. When men speak ill of thee, live so as nobody may believe them. The price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. The living are always adjusting the world to the living, and the dead adjust themselves to the world. Justice means minding your own business and not meddling with other men's concerns. The soul takes nothing with her to the other world but her education and culture, and these, it is said, are of the greatest service or the greatest injury to the dead man at the very beginning of his journey thither. Opinion is the medium between knowledge and ignorance. The punishment which the wise suffer who refuse to take part in the government is to live under the government of worse men. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. We are twice armed if we fight with faith. Love is born into every human being. It calls back the halves of our original nature together. There are three classes of men: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. Man is a wingless animal with 2 feet and flat nails. Ideas are the source of all things.